The 2011 World Series was way crazier than you remember. There were multiple lead changes, comebacks with the team down to their final strike, and arguably the most exciting game ever played. But to fully understand why many call this series the greatest in history, we have to become familiar with the two teams. On one side stood a National League juggernaut, while on the other, a franchise still searching for its first title. In fact, after their inception in 1961, it took the Rangers over 30 years to make the playoffs. They went through numerous owners, managers, they spent more than the entire sale of their franchise on a single player, and yet they still couldn't find their way to the World Series. But in the late 2000s, things started to change. Key players emerged from their minor league system in C.J. Wilson, Ian Kinsler, and Elvis Andrus. And with these young stars producing, the club complemented them with key acquisitions such as Adrian Beltre, Nelson Cruz, and Josh Hamilton, to name a few. Together, this group led the Rangers to their first World Series appearance in 2010, where they unfortunately came up short to the San Francisco Giants.
Here it is, struck him out, and for the first time since 1954, the Giants are world champions.
Losing the World Series was a difficult reality to grapple with for many Rangers fans who had waited their entire lives to see their beloved team hoist the trophy. But just a year later, their hope was rekindled. After winning 96 regular season games and blowing past the Tampa Bay Rays in the divisional round and the Detroit Tigers in the championship series, they were back.
The Texas Rangers win the pennant.
The 51,000 supporters inside Rangers ballpark that night cheered emphatically as they watched their team win their second consecutive pennant. And this time, they knew their boys would be ready to right their wrongs from the year before. Although, if they were to achieve their lifelong dream of winning it all, they would have to do it against the most successful team in National League history.
For the first time since 1982, St. Louis has a World Series winner.
The St. Louis Cardinals, owners to some of the greatest players to ever grace the game of baseball, were back in the Fall Classic for the first time since winning it all just 5 years prior. They honestly shouldn't have even made it this far. Before the season started, they lost their ace when Adam Wainwright underwent Tommy John surgery. They barely made the playoffs as the wild card on the final day of the season, and had their backs against the wall in both the divisional round and championship series. But when the dust cleared, they were the last team standing in the National League.
And running over, and the Cardinals have done it!
On one side stood a team deprived of glory, but on the other, one of the sport's most illustrious franchises. Yeah, it was supposed to be a battle for the ages, but somehow it still turned out to be crazier than we ever could have imagined.
The Cardinals hope to take a first step toward their 11th World Championship, while Texas eyes a first. It's Game 1 of the World Series between the Texas Rangers and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Both sides sent up their aces. For the Rangers, homegrown star C.J. Wilson took the mound, and for the Cardinals, veteran Chris Carpenter. With both taking the hill, the two offenses took a back seat to start the game, and it was in major thanks to some elite defense.
There he goes, hit and run, throw down by Molina.
Kinsler was caught stealing in the first, and in the bottom half, it was the Rangers' turn to flash the leather.
He and LaRusse are glad they did it. Double play ball. Beltre out at second and out at first. Got a ball.
With both pitchers dealing, the offenses found little wiggle room throughout the early going, as the game remained scoreless through 3. But with the ever-powerful Albert Puhols at the plate, Wilson was unable to locate his pitch.
And that got Albert Pujols is on to start the inning.
With a star slugger like Pujols batting, it's not uncommon for a pitcher to challenge him inside, but Wilson was unable to deliver, plunking Pujols to put the leadoff batter on, giving St. Louis the spark they so desperately needed.
As he shoots it down the right field line fair, into the corner, and Albert Pujols will make it to third.
On the very next pitch, Matt Holliday put the Rangers into further trouble with a double down the right field line, placing runners on second and third and no one out for Lance Berkman. Throughout his career, he was one of the most feared power hitters in the game, racking up numerous all-star selections and top finishes in MVP voting. Yet one thing eluded him: the World Series trophy. At 35 years old, he didn't have many shots left. So with this in mind, he stepped up to the plate, ready to leave his mark.
To the right side, fair. Puhols scores. Here comes Holiday. And the Cardinals lead 2-0 in the fourth of game one.
Berkman's 2 RBI single broke the game open for the Redbirds, igniting cheers throughout the 46,000 inside Busch Stadium. But even they knew it was only a matter of time before the Rangers sluggers answered back.
As Napoli flies one into right, and this game is tied.
Any place in that lineup, they are dangerous.
The game was back to square one, but the following inning, the Rangers threatened to take their first lead.
Play is at first, and the sacrifice is good from Elvis Andrus.
The bunt advanced Kinsler to second, as up stepped the ever-powerful Josh Hamilton. With one swing of the bat, he could put the Cardinals in a hole too deep to climb out of. It was safe to say Carpenter was in a jam, but thankfully Hamilton's shot fell shy of the warning track.
John Jay is there, tagging is Kinsler, and the throw is stopped by Puhols, runner at third, 2 out.
Retiring Hamilton brought a sigh of relief from Carpenter, but with only 2 outs and Kinsler now on third, the inning was still far from over.
And it gives the RBI chance now to Michael Young.
Michael Young, the veteran third baseman, was still at the peak of his game, leading MLB with 213 hits. But another would be necessary to put his team in front.
To the right side, fair ball. Puhols the stop and the out.
The slide and grab by Puhols and the perfectly timed throw to the covering Carpenter at first allowed the Cardinals to escape the Rangers' rally.
Not an easy play, and Puhols and Carpenter pulled it off.
With the threat averted, it gave the Cardinals the opportunity to start their own.
That's well hit into the gap. In right center field, and this ball one-hops the wall. Freeze has got a one-out double.
David Freese, the hometown hero who had already come through in the clutch the round prior, continued his hot October with a double, and following a wild pitch, he was able to move 90 feet closer.
That skips in, and Freeze will go to third on a wild pitch.
Now 90 feet away, the fate lied in the bat of Carpenter, but instead, manager Tony La Russa opted to take out his starter and instead bring in rookie Alan Craig to pinch hit. Despite less than 100 Major League games, Craig excelled at the plate, and that success carried over into the postseason.
Cruz will make a catch, and now it's dropped. 1 run scores, and the Cardinals lead 3-2.
The count was in Wilson's favor at 1-2, but the rookie didn't panic, fighting the 2-strike offering into right field for the go-ahead hit. And this time, they were able to hold on to their slim lead.
And that's one into left center field. Coming to get it to win the night is Holiday. And the Cardinals win game 1, 3-2.
But first, a quick word for today's sponsor, Exter. Exter produces premium bags and accessories, and is especially known for their innovative smart wallets. At only half the size of a standard wallet, it can still store more than 12 cards in cash, all easily accessible through its signature trigger mechanism. Every wallet also features built-in RFID protection, shielding you from data theft and wireless skimmers. And with their Finder card accessory, which is accessible for both iOS and Android devices, you can locate your wallet if you ever misplace it. But Exter isn't just focused on wallets anymore. They've brought in their lineup to elevate your travel gear as well. Their travel pack vacuum kit is carry-on sized and built to maximize storage. In fact, you can triple your packing capacity by using the included air pump or any vacuum to compress over 15 articles of clothing. So if you'd like to upgrade your wallet or travel more comfortably, head on over to Exter's website and use code GREENLIGHT for up to 64% off. That's code GREENLIGHT for up to 64% off. Alright, thank you Exter, now back to the video. Their Game 1 victory was a perfect combination of shutdown pitching, elite defense, and timely hitting.
Certainly, we got hot at the right time. We finished up the last month strong, and so far I've had a good run here in the postseason. So
Berkman was right. The Cardinals were hot, and in Game 2, they continued their winning ways by taking a slim 1-0 lead into the 9th inning.
For the top of the order, Kinsler, Andrus, Hamilton coming up. St. Louis up by 1.
3 outs separated them from a 2-0 series advantage, but Jason Mott, who had excelled in the closer role throughout the playoffs, quickly put himself into trouble.
Out goes for Kyle, and It's a base hit. Good start to this ninth inning for Texas. In the air to center, a base hit. They will hold Kinsler at third. And down to second on that throw is Andrews. Nobody out. Second and third.
Kinsler and Andrews opened the ninth with back-to-back singles. With nobody out and the heart of the Rangers lineup stepping up to the plate, he was in for a tough battle.
Lead of the ninth. And he rips one into right. That'll tie the ball game. Here is a 3-2. And a fly ball into right center field is going to put Texas on top for the first time tonight.
2 sac flies gave the Rangers a late lead, and with it, a split in St. Louis.
For Kyle, hits it in the air to right. Here is Nelson Cruz, and a comeback win for the Texas Rangers as they tie this best-of-7 series at a game apiece.
Their Game 2 loss was a crushing defeat, and while many pushed blame onto the bullpen, the true culprits knew who was to blame for their defeat: the offense. 1 run on the biggest stage in the world is simply too little, especially against the Rangers' elite lineup. So they knew they had to make up for it in Game 3.
The opposite way and fair. Down the right field line, Holiday will score. Here's a 2-2 to Terrio. Ground ball, base hit left field. Late break by Jay. He'll hold at third. In to score Molina. Home a career high in runs this year, and he's got 2 in this World Series. And that opens it up back to a 5-run game. It's 8-3 in the 5th.
Inning after inning, the Cardinals bats made the Rangers pitchers cry for mercy.
And here's the 1-1 offering. Swung on and hit deep to left. Absolutely crushed, and that ball is gone.
Puhols hits a high fly ball. That's deep. Left center field. It's a gunner!
Swinging another home run. There it is, his 3rd of the game. Albert Puhols with 3 home runs, and it's now 16-7.
16 runs, more than making up for their Game 2 no-show as the Cardinals regained the series lead.
Here in Arlington, and that will do it. Nelson Cruz is out, and the Cardinals win it 16-7.
No player fueled their breakout 16-run performance more than Albert Pujols, going 5 for 6 with 3 homers, 4 runs scored, and 6 driven in. It was one of the most dominant games in World Series history, and it put the Cardinals back in front.
The Cardinals right now, after last night's game, they smell it, they feel it, they taste it. They're right there for the World Series. They know they're 2 wins away from holding the trophy up and celebrating with a nice champagne and a nice parade.
The National League winners were in control, but they understood just how dangerous the Rangers could be.
Guys, if there is a team in Major League Baseball that knows how to play the role in Teflon and bounce back, it is indeed the Texas Rangers, EK.
It was quickly turning into do-or-die time for the Rangers. They needed someone to step up the way Pujols had for the Cardinals. With stars like Kinsler, Beltre, and Hamilton, they had no shortage of candidates. But actually, it was the first-year Ranger Mike Napoli who answered the call.
That is tomahawked way out of here to left. And it's 4-0 Texas in the 6th.
His 3-run 6th inning shot put the game out of reach, and the following night, his bat stayed hot.
In the air to right center field. This ball is down and off the wall. 1 run scores. Here's Cruz, and it's 4-2 Texas in the 8th.
His 2 RBI double capped off the Rangers' Game 5 comeback, and with it, helped give his team their first lead.
This one gets away. Napoli has to finish it. He's done it all tonight. And the Rangers win Game 5. And they lead this World Series 3-2.
It seemed like the Cardinals were in control of the whole series, but thanks to 2 late fumbles, the Rangers held all the power, just 1 win away from their first championship in history, while the Cardinals were fighting for their lives. So as you would imagine, each team left everything on the field.
Base hit into right. In to score is Kinsler. 1-0 Rangers in the 1st.
Back and forth the 2 offenses went, trading the lead throughout the first 6 innings.
And he hits one into center. Back at the wall. Cardinals lead Game 6. 2-1 as Berkman goes deep.
With both sides knotted at 4, the game was anyone's for the taking, but unfortunately for the home crowd, it didn't feel like their team would be the one to prevail.
1-0 pitch. Fly ball into right center. Back at the track. This ball is gone. High fly ball down the left field line. This ball is gone. And the Rangers have a 6-4 lead in the 7th.
Back-to-back home runs to start the inning and a run-scoring single later on allowed the Rangers to take a 3-run lead, the largest on the night by either side. Suddenly, the Cardinals were in trouble, but just as hope faded, a sliver of it returned.
That ball is hit in the air to left. Back at the wall. It's a 2-run game. Alan Craig goes deep.
It was only a solo shot, but it cut into the Rangers' lead, making their deficit a little less daunting as they entered the 9th.
And it sets the stage for the bottom of the 9th. Feliz will enter, trying to give the Rangers their first world championship in franchise history.
This was it, everything they had worked for from March to October. Now they only had 3 outs left to save their season, and things were only going to get more difficult as Theriot went down swinging.
1 away.
Now the home run can't tie it.
Many would have hoped for Puhols to step up, representing the tying run. Now he was tasked with being the table setter.
That's a base hit into left center field, and it will scoot all the way to the wall. But most importantly, it brings in the tying run.
The crowd, which seemingly died a couple innings prior, roared louder than they had all night when Puhols reached base, creating an environment Neftali Feliz was unable to produce in.
That will put the tying run on.
All of a sudden, the Cardinals had something brewing, but it was about to become a whole lot more difficult as Craig came up empty.
Got him looking 2 out, and the Rangers are 1 out away from the championship.
With 2 down, the fate of their season rested on Freese's shoulders, a player who grew up attending Cardinal games. It was always his dream to play for his beloved team. Now he was in the position to save their season. But sometimes, even in fairy tales, there isn't always a happy ending.
The 1-1. Strike 2. And now the Rangers are 1 strike away.
Freese took strike 1 and whiffed for strike 2, putting the Rangers on the edge of victory. Everything was on the line.
Into right, well hit. Back at the wall. It's off the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Berkman. Freese has tied it. 7-7.
Freese's shot to right field narrowly evaded the outstretched glove of Cruz as the ball rattled off the wall, bringing the score level in the waning moments of the game.
David Freese, who grew up in St. Louis rooting for the Cardinals, shoots one over the head of Nelson Cruz in right. We're 7-7, and this season continues.
Jubilation spread throughout every fan watching. However, their emotions were set to be played with once again.
There's a shot into right. Back at the track. At the wall. Hamilton has gone deep, and it's 9-7 Texas here in the 10th.
Hamilton's 10th inning shot put the Rangers back in front. In this moment, doubt started to creep in. The Cardinals had already come back twice. Could they do it again?
Descalso is on to start the inning. 0-1. Little fly ball into left. That ball is going to drop for a hit. And it's 2 on with nobody out here in the bottom of the 10th.
Daniel Descalso and John Jay represented the tying runs, and following a sac bunt,
This one is in the air. It gets over the head of Beltre and out at first. Second and third, 1 out.
they both stood in scoring position, allowing Theriot to bring them within 1.
Left side, coming to the plate, Descalso. Out at first is Theriot.
The Rangers' lead was cut in half, but now there were 2 outs in the inning, and following a Puhols intentional walk, their life was in Berkman's hands. As mentioned, he was 35. who knew if he'd get any more shots at a ring? So he remained calm in the most critical at-bat of his career, even after the count matured to 2 strikes. This was the moment he had always dreamed of.
In the air to right center. This game is tied, and it's 9-9.
Their backs were against the wall, but once again, they showed that they would never quit, and that never say die mentality allowed them to come out victorious.
Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
Against all odds, the Cardinals came back not once, but twice in the game's final moments, forcing the series to a decisive 7th game. But everyone in the baseball world knew there was zero chance the Cardinals would let their Game 6 heroics be for nothing.
Back is Craig. What a team. What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.